Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs and your NFL. And we have to talk about what's going on in Kansas City. Obviously, a lot of noise this week about what's going on with Frank Clark and how that affects his future with the team. A lot of question marks. I am going to get into what I think it all ends up meaning for this roster and this take it back year at another run at another Super Bowl. It's not what I'm going to get into the details about in terms of what has happened, because honestly, we just don't know. Welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. Hit the like, the sub, and the bell notification if you're new. Now, the whole crew around here has been going back and forth on takes on where this is leading for the Kansas City Chiefs and what it means for them for their Super Bowl run. That's what I want to get into. We haven't delved too far into it yet because we just don't know a lot of information. The legal process is going to sort itself out. If you listen to Locked On Chiefs this week, you heard Matt Derrick come on the show with me. And we discussed back and forth that there's probably not going to be a lot of movement because the NFL moves at a pretty glacial pace in allowing law enforcement to do their investigations. That's pretty normal operating procedure for the NFL at this point. I don't think the Chiefs are going to try to jump the NFL's gun either. This is not a small infraction by a small player. This is a big-time deal. I think they're going to take their time with it. So I don't expect anything here this week, unless some other announcement is made by law enforcement that really changes the picture for Frank Clark. That said, there could be things down the line. Do I expect them to do a release or anything? I don't. I don't think that because this is a victimless crime, so to speak, this is a possession charge. I don't think that the team's going to see it as anything close to Kareem Hunt. And I know a lot of people are drawing that conclusion. I don't think they're very similar cases at all. We'll see what happens because of the March charge as well. Like, there are things building up for Frank. And I know they like his edge. I know that they like what he brings to the field. The question is now just becoming, is the rest of it worth that deal? And I know for some fans, it's not. It's already past that point. For some, they understand where they're at on the field may be different than what it is in the community. And that's the thing is, a lot of people ask questions about what it means for the Kansas City community, and I don't think that it changes anything for that community. This happened in California, in a place that he's from, that he has history and a number of other things that are uncontrollable. So I don't think that you have to worry about that. What I have to think that you have to worry about is what does this do to the team aspect and what they have to do on the field. That's what I'm here for. I'm not a lawyer. If we can delve in with Seth. Seth is a practicing lawyer, not in California though, so I don't know that he'd even venture an opinion. For me, I'm a football analyst and a coach first. That's the way it goes. And when it comes down, the physicality, Frank brings something that's pretty unique. The power at his weight is pretty impressive. And yes, I know everybody wants him to be more productive than he has been in the last couple of years, and I understand that. But it's not that easy, especially when you're getting the attention. The worst part about this scenario for the team is that they are just starting to get their front four figured out. And that's where this comes to, is what's the front four going to be? For me as an analyst, that's what I have to look at as the primary goal, is how do they adapt to this? What can they do to adapt to this in order to keep pushing towards that Super Bowl, the third in a row, and try to get over the hump? There's a lot of question marks there. They have a lot of interesting characters on this team that could fill in. I don't know that it comes to that right now without some kind of legal process coming to a conclusion or an investigation by the league or the team coming to a conclusion. I don't know that you're going to see Frank Clark miss much time. The league could always do a suspension. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but I just don't think that it's going to be coming before training camp, before the beginning of the season. I think there's going to be a lot of work that has to be done before they would choose to do a suspension. So I think you're going to see Frank Clark on the field. I don't think you're going to hear from him anytime soon. That's going to be pretty straightforward. But what that means is he's going to be on the field. You have to do your best to get as much reps for the guys that can fill in for him if you do later in the season come upon a point in time where you might lose him to a suspension, etc. You need to prepare for that moment. If you're Brett Veach, if you're Brennan Daly, if you're Steve Spagnuolo, you have to start preparing for that now. And you feel pretty good about that with Taco Charlton on there. Maybe I'm a little more bullish on Taco this season than the team is. We'll have to see. They seem very bullish on Kendo, their rookie, that they went out and got because of his length, because of his power, and because they feel that he's raw. A lot of things in common with Frank Clark coming out of college as well. So he fits the type along with Taco. Then you have Mike Danna, who I think put in a lot of meaningful snaps last year. And a lot of people want to talk about his weight. Would I like him to play at 280 and still be explosive? Absolutely. But Mike Danna at 260, I think he's listed a hair over that. He might be a few pounds heavier. That's not that far from Frank Clark's weight, listed at 265. I think he's actually quite a bit under that. So I don't think you're losing a lot in terms of what the power play can be. Mike Danna creates a good amount of power too. So you have a three-man rotation there at the very least. And that's with Chris Jones staying outside at the other edge. I do think that that's what they want to do. I know that's what Chris wants to do. And, Chris will probably get his way at the end of the day because he's been waiting a long time for this. And this all comes down towards raising the total level of your front four in order to help the backside of the defense and be a defense that can be more competitive. And if you can do that on early downs, you're going to be better off. I think Jarran Reed brings a lot to the table in helping the linebackers and helping the run defense in general on early downs not get themselves in easy conversion situations for the offense. That's key. And if they can do that, they're going to be in good shape. But then you circle back. I think Mike Danna helps with that. Mike Danna, if Frank Clark is out a game, whether it's suspension or injury or whatever, Mike Danna might be the starter if it's not Chris Jones. I think Mike Danna right now is probably the guy that is going to get the most reps at the opposite edge if it's not Chris Jones. We're going to see how that evolves. I think you could see Turk Wharton move outside some and put some reps in there, and then Taco Kendo, etc. Tim Ward's a long shot as well. Like, they have some bodies to put out there. The question is going to be on pass rushing downs. Second and long, third and long. What can you get out of the opposite pass rush if Frank isn't on the field? And if you really want to maximize that pass rush, do you bring Chris back inside and line somebody else up there? Because I like Derek Nottie. We know he's not a pass rush demon, right? So you're talking about swapping out your defensive tackle, whether that's Turk Wharton, whether that's Colin Saunders, whether it's somebody that we don't see coming right now, we'll see. But either way, you need to get 4 pass rushers that can get home. The problem that the Chiefs have had the last 2 years is they've only had 2. 2 out of 4 will not get the job done. So what this means for Frank Clark is one thing. What this means for the team is a completely different one, because no matter what, they have to get pressure with 4. They have to do a better job with that. We'll talk about variations or what else they could do with maybe another man on the line. You know, I get a little carried away with some of the old school formations that I like to push and tweak towards what it could be in a modern game. We'll get into that another day. But that's where we stand at this point. When news breaks or we get more information about Frank Clark, I'll definitely have all the breakdown for you. The guys will keep doing their work, taking their takes, their film, looking at players and this gap right here, this 6 weeks before training camp starts, how we can dig into the players a little bit more. Obviously, I'm putting the Noah Gray film off another week. We'll get to that. Gives me another chance to try to find some more All-22. I have a couple for you. I think you guys are going to like it. But at the end of the day, Frank Clark is a piece of this team. He is not the entire team. And I think that while this is a frustrating and, quite frankly, worrisome development in his career, I think you're going to have Frank Clark in 2021, at least to begin the season. And we'll go from there as to how long he's with this team. A lot depends on the next couple of months for Frank and what is discovered. So let me know what you think. Are you glad that Frank's here? Do you want him to stay? Do you want him to go? What do you think happens? Leave your comments below. Make sure you like and sub and hit the bell notification. That bell is important. If you're watching on your phone right now, click it down to all notifications. A lot of folks lately have been joining the channel and not getting the notifications because they just click on. And YouTube is a little bit picky about some of the other settings. You have to allow notifications, then you have to let the whole thing come off the channel. So we have a lot. Consider joining the memberships because you get a couple extra shows thanks to Gooch and Keys, and we do all the member-specific stuff as well. So hope you guys have a good one today. We'll be back with some more. I will catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more.